Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators to order for July 10, 2024. Please rise as we're led in Pledge of Allegiance by Legislator Jim Rumfelt.
Please join me in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain upstanding as we're led in invocation by Legislator Gretchen Hanchett.
Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Look over and guide those who serve and protect us. Help us to engage in productive discussions. Allow us to grow and nurture the bonds of the communities we serve. Guide us in our discussions. Give us your grace that we may effectively do our part as public servants. Bless our plans, programs, and projects so that we may achieve our objectives. We strive in supporting Allegheny County as the best place to live, work, and play. Amen.
Thank you both. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Barnes. Mrs. Burdick. Here. Mr. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Sear. Mr. Demick.
Here.
Mr. Fanton.
Here.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Havey.
Here.
Mr. Healy.
Here.
Mr. Rickey.
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Here.
Mrs. Root. Mr. Rumfeld.
Present.
Mr. Stockin. Here. 13 present, 2 absent.
Thank you.
You're provided a copy of the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of June 26, and we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion made by Legislator Fanton, second by Legislator Rumfelt. Any addition or corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those are approved.
You were also provided a copy of the board meeting minutes of June 26, and we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Mr. Curran makes the motion, second by Legislator Havey. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those are carried. This time we will suspend the regular meeting and open a public hearing to discuss the proposed public infrastructure, public facilities, and community planning grant application CDBG 2024. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the board regarding that subject at this time? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting. At this time, if there are any members of the public that wish to address the board on any other matters. Seeing none, is there anything on our desks today?
There is a report of interfund transfers and tax bill corrections approved by the county administrator in June. The State of New York Public Service Commission order approving compliance filings authorizing Alley Cat Wind Farm to construct and operate a utility-scale wind electric generating facility in Allegheny, Cattaraugus, and Wyoming counties was received. Pursuant to Article 11 of the New York State Real Property Tax Law, County Treasurer Terry Ross filed a certificate of withdrawal of delinquent tax lien for property in the town of Burns in my office on July 3rd. We received correspondence from the Allegheny County Industrial Development Agency dated July 2nd regarding a proposed deviation from uniform tax exemption policy in connection with the Brawlers Corner Solar LLC project. We received correspondence from Assemblyman Joseph Giglio dated July 2nd confirming receipt and support of our resolution number 27024 in opposition to proposed changes to the federal OSHA Fire Brigade standard. We received a copy of the Alley Cat Wind Farm construction notice received July 3rd announcing the beginning of construction for their project consisting of up to 83 wind turbines with a maximum generating capability of approximately 340 megawatts along with associated improvements within an area encompassing approximately 20,131 acres. We received an invitation from the Allegheny Farm Bureau inviting board members to attend their annual picnic at Island Park on July 28th. There is a form circulating around your desks if you can check whether or not you'll be going to that event. Also, a reminder that we received an invitation to attend the second annual New York State First Responder Wellness Symposium at the SUNY Cortland Corey Union Function Room. This event's being held August 1st and 2nd, and there is also a form circulating around your desks for that event.
Resolutions?
Resolution intro number 28824. Changing the date and time of September 11th regular board meeting. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval.
Motion made by legislator Stockin, seconded by legislator Fanton. Discussion? This resolution can be voice voted. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you. That's approved.
Resolution intro number 28924. Resolution setting date for public hearing on a grant application seeking a $50,000 grant under the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Public Infrastructure, Public Facilities, and Community Planning Program for a comprehensive housing analysis. This resolution is being offered by the Planning and Economic Development Committee and has committee approval. It was not pre-filed and it will require a 2/3 vote to consider from the floor.
Motion to consider made by legislator Fanton, seconded by legislator Rumfeld. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's carried. And on the resolution, the motion is made by legislator Hanchett, seconded by legislator Healy. Discussion? This resolution can be voice voted. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? And that's approved.
Resolution intro number 29024 was withdrawn by the Ways and Means Committee. Resolution intro number 29124 was withdrawn by the Ways and Means Committee. Resolution intro number 29224. Acceptance and appropriation of donation funds received by the County of Allegheny through its Department of Social Services from the First Presbyterian Church for the Child Advocacy Center. This resolution is being offered by the Human Services and Ways and Means Committees and has both committees' approval.
Motion by legislator Burdick, seconded by legislator Ricketts Wales. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
And Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 29324. Reappropriation and reallocation of unspent epidemiology and laboratory capacity COVID-19 grant funds for the Department of Health. This resolution is being offered by the Human Services and Ways and Means Committees and has both committees' approval.
Motion by legislator Burdick, seconded by legislator Ricketts Wales. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved. Would anyone care to make a motion to block resolution intro numbers 294 of 24 through 297 of 24? Thank you, legislator Hanchett, seconded by legislator Ricky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Resolution intro number 29424, approval of amendment to agreement between the County of Allegheny and eClinical Works for the immunization program for the Department of Health, ratifying the county administrator's signature on said amendment. Resolution 29524, approval of renewal of agreement between the County of Allegheny and the New York State Department of Health for the Drinking Water Enhancement Grant, period number 5, for the Department of Health, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Resolution intro number 296-24, approval of renewal of agreement between the County of Allegheny and the New York State Department of Health for the Immunization Action Plan Grant, period number 2, for the Department of Health, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Resolution intro number 297-24, approval of preschool service provider and evaluation service agreements, preschool special education itinerant services, and center-based agreements between the County of Allegheny and school districts and entities for the preschool program for the Department of Health, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreements. These resolutions are being offered by the Human Services Committee and has committee approval.
Legislator Burdick makes the motion, second by Legislator Ricketts Swales. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy? Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
And Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved. Would anyone care to make a motion to block resolution intro numbers 298 of 24 through 300 of 24? Thank you, Legislator Rumfeld, second by Legislator Fanton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that's carried.
Resolution intro number 298-24, approval of amendment of agreement between the County of Allegheny and Legal Assistance of Western New York for the Office for the Aging for legal services for residents of Allegheny County who are 60 years of age or older, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Resolution intro number 299-24, approval of agreement between the County of Allegheny and Houghton Rehabilitation and Nursing Center for skilled nursing respite care for the Office for the Aging, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Resolution intro number 300-24, approval of agreement between the County of Allegheny and Total Senior Care Incorporated for social day services for the Office for the Aging, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. These resolutions are being offered by the Human Services Committee and have committee approval.
Motion by Legislator Burdick, seconded by Legislator Ricketts Swales. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
No on 298 of 24. Yes on 299 and 300 of 24.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
I'm going to go with Legislator Harris, Chairman Harris, and vote no on 298 of 24 and yes on the other.
Okay. Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
Okay. On resolution intro number 298-24, we have 11 ayes, 2 noes, and 2 absent. On resolution intro numbers 299 and 300 of 24, we have 13 ayes and 2 absent.
Those resolutions are approved. Would anyone care to make a motion to block resolution intro numbers 301 of 240 of 24 to 302 of 24? Thank you, Legislator Ricky, second by Legislator Hanchett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Resolution intro number 301-24, approval of agreement between the Allegheny County Department of Social Services and the Allegheny County Office of Employment and Training for the Summer Youth Employment Program, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Resolution intro number 302-24, approval of agreements between the County of Allegheny and multiple agencies for foster care services for the Department of Social Services, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreements. These resolutions are being offered by the Human Services Committee and have committee approval.
Motion by legislator Burdick, second by legislator Ricketts Swales. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Those resolutions are approved.
Excuse me,
Mr. Barnes.
my name didn't get called.
I'm sorry, Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Thank you. 13 ayes, 2 absent. My apologies. Resolution intro number 30324. Amending Resolution Number 1622, approval of lease for Rushford Lake Swimming Area, designating Allegheny County Administrator as county official for operation of public beach. This resolution is being offered by the Resource Management Committee and has committee approval. It was not pre-filed and it will require a 2/3 vote to consider from the floor.
Motion to consider made by legislator Fanton, seconded by legislator Healy. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's carried. And the resolution itself, the motion is made by legislator Curran, seconded by legislator Hanchett. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton? Mrs. Hanchett? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
And Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
That's approved.
Resolution intro number 30424. Approval of agreement between the County of Allegheny and Medical Transport Service Incorporated for 911 Emergency Advanced Life Support Services, authorizing the chairman of the board to execute said agreement. Approval of budget modification in relation to 911 Emergency Advanced Life Support Services provided for the County of Allegheny by Medical Transport Service Incorporated. This resolution is being offered by the Public Safety and Ways and Means Committees. It has both committees' approval. It was not pre-filed and it will require a 2/3 vote to consider from the floor.
Motion to consider made by legislator Ricky, seconded by legislator Havey. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's carried. And on the resolution itself, motion's made by legislator Havey, seconded by legislator Rumfeld. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Demick?
Yes.
Mr. Fanton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Havey?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales?
Yes.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Abstain.
Mr. Stockin?
Yes.
And Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
12 ayes, 2 absent, 1 abstaining.
Resolution's approved.
Resolution intro number 30524. Approval of appropriation of American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds to purchase a UTV and golf cart for the Sheriff's Office. Creation of a new cost center, A3118. This resolution is being offered by the Ways and Means Committee and has committee approval. It was not pre-filed and it will require a 2/3 vote to consider from the floor.
Mr. Rumfeld makes the motion to consider, seconded by legislator Fanton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that's carried. And the resolution itself, the motion is made by legislator Stockin, seconded by legislator Havey. Discussion. Legislator Ricketts Swales.
I feel these items would be better used if they were for the whole county and not just for the sheriff's office.
Thank you. Further comment, Mr. Ricky?
Yes, I'm going to be voting no on this, not because I think the sheriff doesn't need them. I think he doesn't have the manpower to run them. And until this board takes it up and pushes a little harder, we got to find out why Cat County can hire a correction officer right off the street, and we can't. We got to jump through so many hoops. Nobody's been able to answer to me why a county next one over, same state, why their rules are different than ours. So I think if he could get some help in hiring some people, that would go a long way on a lot of things. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Havey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be voting on this positively. I'm going to support this because I think that the sheriff has outlined really good reasons for having both of these. Both of these can be used for rescue. They both can be used for transport of deputies. I think these are necessary tools in his toolbox, and I'll be voting yes.
Thank you. Further discussion? Legislator Hanchett?
I do agree these are very important to have. I would be more apt to be in favor of just going with the side-by-side at this time. I know we have ARPA money, but not that much, and there's a lot of higher priorities on it. And so I would be much happier to see approving the side-by-side and then budgeting for the golf cart. So that's how I feel at this time.
Thank you. Further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick.
No.
Mr. Curran.
Yes.
Mr. Demick.
Yes.
Mr. Fanton.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett.
No.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Havey.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
No.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
No.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Yes.
Mr. Stockin.
Yes.
And Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
9 ayes, 4 no, 2 absent.
Resolution's approved. How do you prefer the reading of the audit today? So moved by Legislator Stockin, seconded by Legislator Fanton. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That's carried.
General government support, $138,924.48. Education, $223,731.41. Public safety, $130,225.07. Health, $230,181.76. Economic assistance and opportunity, $839,563.89. Culture and recreation, $11,506.37. Home and community services, $29,322.09. Our general fund totaled $1,603,455.07. Payroll and taxes totaled $1,340,071.32. Our capital fund totaled $182,108.53. Our other funds totaled $1,679,346.86. for a grand total of $4,804,981.78.
Is there a motion to approve the audit? Motion made by Legislator Havey, seconded by Legislator Hanchett. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Burdick.
Yes.
Mr. Curran.
Yes.
Mr. Demick.
Yes.
Mr. Fanton.
Yes.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Havey.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Ricky.
Yes.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Yes.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Yes.
Mr. Stockin. And Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
13 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution is approved. Excuse me, the audit's approved. Is there anything for the good of the order today? Legislator Ricketts Swales?
I'd just like to remind all the legislators to hand in their paperwork from this morning's session, if they haven't already. I'm pretty sure you can give it to the clerk of the board's office.
Does it mark against our grade if we turn it in late?
Question.
Mr. Healy?
Going back to the sheriff's UTV golf cart, refresh my memory on a resolution that comes off the floor. What's the required majority?
Requires
Just a simple majority?
2/3 majority.
Only to consider.
To consider.
But not for the vote itself?
Correct.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Anything else for the good of the order? Mr. Rumfeld?
Mr. Chairman, as there appears to be no other business to come before the Board of Legislators this afternoon, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second? Legislator Hanchett, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and we are adjourned.